And we're back with Dr. Tim McKnight, whose office is at Trinity Twin City. I don't know if we ever say that.
Well, you just did.
Good.
There it is.
Now you know where to find him. You can also find him on the Fit for Life classes, and I know you want to talk about that. What is Fit for Life? How do I get fit for life?
Well, it's a lifestyle change, and we talk about how to change your mindset, change your emotional state, improve relationships so that you can heal, and then we just empower people with information on healthy foods, healthy lifestyle choices. We talk about cardiovascular fitness, strength fitness, flexibility, hormone balancing, all those topics that we don't really have time to talk to patients about in the office, particularly
At length.
At length, right? Particularly most people come in the office, when they come in with a problem, they want a fix for it, but they don't necessarily want medications because they're expensive and there's side effects and there's concerns and there's costs. And so they're looking for alternatives. And unfortunately, allopathic medicine doesn't have alternatives. We just prescribe. And this is an alternative to just an automatic pill for a symptom or a problem. And so we just enjoy it. We have a lot of fun. People make these changes and they get off medications or they pare down what they're taking and they feel better. And so we have great success. We've been doing this since 2006. So that makes it, 15, 16 years now. And we're going strong. You know, we thought that we would saturate. Everybody in the community would have heard about it by now. And if they would have taken the class if they were interested. But we had the class at the Dover Library this fall, and we got a lot of folks from Dover, New Philly there that never really heard about it. It was close for them, and it was convenient, so it worked out really well.
I was going to say, every doctor doesn't graduate from med school and say, well, I'm going to start a Fit for Life class. How did you decide you wanted to do that?
Well, it was my nutrition background before medical school, and I was interested in sports physiology and fitness to begin with. And I went to it was actually a wellness conference down in Florida. It was a continuing medical education conference. And I listened to this physiologist from the University of Florida talk about eating healthy and exercising and flexibility. I thought, boy, those are the things I've been thinking about. I think I could do that. And it was a great conference. It was for medical providers. But I learned a lot, and I thought, I know this. I can do this. Mm-hmm. So I came back in 2003 and started the pilot program. And then in 2006, we got government funding, and then we were off and running because I could really devote time to it. And after 12 years of funding, with over $1.5 million of funding, we were able to put make quite an investment on the curriculum to make sure it was effective and it would resonate with people. And so it's been great.
Why would the Dover Public Library be touting this? They're involved, right?
Yeah, they're involved. They're just nice people. They have a conference center where we can meet. They know it brings nice people into the Dover Library. We've met at schools. We've met at churches. We've met in businesses around the community. We've had the classes in Harley Davidson and Lauren Manufacturing. It's not Lauren now, but different venues around the county, and now it's time for a Dover Library. So it's a little bit more north probably than we've ever been, but like I said, we're getting people that normally wouldn't maybe come as far as our hospital to come to the classes.
How do you measure success in this? Because everybody's a little bit different, and you might take off some weight or do feel better in some way, but it is successful, no question, but how do you measure that?
Well, probably the easiest measure is at the end of the class, we ask participants anonymously, would you recommend this program to family and friends? And 3,000 plus people have said yes. No one has said no. Actually, one person said no way back. But that's a pretty good indicator of how it's received. But I can tell you there's wonderful stories about people with terrible pain problems, fibromyalgia, arthritis, people who have never thought they would walk again or be active again, and they're doing things. People who never thought that running would be something they'd consider, and they're running 3 miles a day now. People who were stuck on diabetic medications, and now instead of a bag of medications, they'll show us at a show and tell time, these are my medications now, and it's a bag of vegetables, and those are the success stories. And when people tell us at the end of the class how it's changed them, I think one of the most important changes is that people start having hope. They start believing that, yeah, my body can heal. I can get better. Maybe I'll try. Maybe I'll join a yoga class, or maybe I'm going to get into a dress I haven't worn in 30 years. So it's really fun for us to watch these changes and watch the light go on and the hope come back, and the people really believe that they can improve their health.
I'm assuming this can't be a cookie cutter per se. I mean, everybody's going to study the same kind of things, but a 65-year-old man in your class and a 30-year-old woman are going to need different things. But
yes,
but that covers them, right?
It does, because we teach the principles that they need, and then as we go through each class, we ask them questions, and we give them time to jot down their answers. And those answers, when we ask those questions, what are you going to do with the information we just presented, that becomes personal. Because the light bulb that goes on, whether it's your sixth sense or the Spirit of God or your conscience or just your own personal awareness, whatever it is in your mind that says, this is what I need to do next, that is inspirational and it's very personal. And that's what makes it unique. So it's really self-directed. We give them the information, and then they figure out how they want to apply it.
I think the thing that's unique to me is there's a psychological aspect too. And you mentioned that a little bit, because that's where it really starts.
It's amazing how we talk about this early on. Our behaviors aren't based on what we know. Our behaviors are based on how we feel. I can explain to you the biochemistry and the metabolism of a sugar molecule and how it can be made into fat every step of the way. I can draw you that map. At least I used to be able to. But if I'm feeling stressed, or I'm feeling bored or lonely or whatever, it doesn't matter what that pathway looks like. I'm into the pastries. Mm-hmm. And so it's the emotions that drive behavior, and we help people understand that. And a lot of times those emotions are triggered by relationships and people in our lives, and we have to understand that impact and how we're going to manage that more effectively.
Let's get back to that in a minute. Are there any openings for this next class? When does it start, and how much is it, and all that?
Yes, it starts. I believe it's Tuesday, January 18th at the Dover Library, and it's $107. And what you get for that is you get the student manual, which is 200 pages, and you get a handbook, a journal that goes with it. And then you get the content. So we're doing this combination of live and virtually, so people don't necessarily have to attend at the Dover Library. They can watch it on Facebook Live. The bulk of the classes are released on Facebook as 3 separate 30-minute segments that they can watch or listen to the slide presentation as I'm explaining the content. And they can do it at their leisure. That makes it really convenient for people. And then on Tuesday nights, we just sort of hit the highlights of that week's content, and we have a question and answer. Sometimes there's a little bit more show and tell on a live session, but you don't necessarily have to be there live every week. And if you miss Tuesday night, you can go back and watch that Facebook Live recording on Thursday or Friday, because we leave it up. So,
and the class lasts for how many weeks?
12 weeks.
12.
So
okay.
Yes. And our project coordinator is Kelly Bowe. Kelly has just become a wonderful friend, a great advocate. She really, one of the things is we connect with them with information. She connects with them emotionally and personally. She becomes their cheerleader, their friend, and somebody that they report to every week. And so it's irreplaceable to have somebody like that, somebody that's always looking out for the program, always recruiting, and always trying to support people. And on our Facebook page, it is a support group, so people will share a recipe, or they'll form a walking group, or they'll talk about something we talked about in class that they're struggling with. So that's another strength of the program. But if people are interested, they register by calling Kelly Bowe, and her number is 330-401-5900. Or they can call the hospital and get connected to her number.
All right. One more thing I want to ask you about. We didn't get to talk about it ahead of time, but this is our last talk before Christmas. Merry Christmas, by the way.
Merry Christmas.
And It's a hard time for a lot of people. Is there a message or some overview that you'd like to hand out before we hit the holiday?
I always worry about this time of year for people because the expectation, that's when we're disappointed when our expectations aren't met. And the expectation, everybody thinks that everybody else is having this Norman Rockwell Christmas with everybody gathered and everybody happy and the turkey is perfect and, everybody gets what they want for Christmas. And that is not the case for most people. There's always, my family get-together has just fallen apart in the last couple of days because of COVID and some other issues. And it's going to, instead of having a large gathering, it's going to be probably my wife and I. So that's disappointing. I think we need to look out for one another. People that are alone or have been forgotten, that's the Christmas spirit, is to reach out to them. But if you are one of those people, realize the day is going to pass and tomorrow is the 26th and life goes on. But one of the most important things I tell people in Fit for Life is when you feel lonely or you feel just down and out because things aren't going the way you want, that's an inward focus. If you can turn outward and do something for somebody else, maybe you just pick up the phone and wish somebody a Merry Christmas, or you stop by with, I don't know, a gift or something. That is the way. I think that's the recipe. That's the treatment for this loneliness that people feel. You can sit back and be upset that you're forgotten, or you can reach out to somebody else that might be forgotten. But it's a time where we really worry about drug overdoses. We worry about alcoholics becoming dangerously sick, and we worry about suicide because the expectations are so high and so many people feel they're the only ones that aren't having that traditional Christmas. So let's just reach out and invite people over that might be forgotten and just remember the Christmas spirit and what it's all about.
I'll try to give you a call on Christmas.
You are very welcome, but I'm going to talk to your wife about that first.
Okay, very good. Dr. McKnight, thank you so much. And again, Merry Christmas to you.
Same to you. It's good to be here.
Talk to you next week. Tim McKnight here on our Talk with the Doc, brought to you, as always, by Mako's Pharmacy.